Hey, Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome back to Against the Storm, my favourite roguelike city builder game. In the last episode where we left off, I had finished the town of Ellum, and I decided to, in my own time, attempt the town of Ima, and that had the Fishmen modifier, and I did manage to pull it off. It took me a long time, which is partially why I did it offline, is so I could practice my skills. Now, the nice thing about that is we did, in fact, pick up a good amount of food and other things, so we might be able to get ourselves a nice upgrade here. Here's an upgrade I really like. You have one additional option to choose from when picking cornerstones at the beginning of each year. This will increase the probability that we have a cornerstone we actually really want, and it'll also increase the amount of how long fuel will burn in the hearth. On the other hand, I could level up my dim square and get my traders to arrive faster and to have more goods. I personally like the idea of starting with the extra cornerstones, because if you get a good cornerstone right off the bat at the beginning of a run, it can be a real game changer. So having 4 cornerstones to choose from is just really nice. Plus fuel will last a little bit longer my fire. That gives me a little bit more leeway. Now, in terms of where we would like to go next, I'm kind of tempted. So the first one I did was in a royal woodlands, and then I did one in the marshlands. So I'm kind of tempted to go ahead and check out a coral forest, because that is one we have not shown you, and I'm going to be playing on hard. Let's have a look here. There will be an average amount of soil. It's normal difficulty. We will have 2 positive modifiers, 3 negative modifiers, as well as the additional effects here, where vegetation mutates into unique strands, and each type of tree has a unique bonus resource. So we're going to have a big variety of resources here. We also have inspiring presence, which is a 5% bonus for bonus yields for production and gathering for each hostility level. So essentially, the longer this game goes on, the better our chance or the more productive our people will become in terms of bonus resources. So that's really cool. Now, in terms of natural resources, there's going to be a lot of meat, a lot of eggs, a good bit of roots, not so much vegetables, herbs, and insects, but we will see a lot of plant fiber, a lot of stone, a little bit of crystallized dew, reed, leather, and coal. So we're going to see some fairly basic setups here, which I definitely kind of makes me lean towards a lizard-based economy, but unfortunately, yeah, it looks like my only real choice is to go for a beaver heavy opener. Although if I were to go for the human heavy opener, I could go for an agricultural game. Start with a lot of humans, go very agricultural direction, cut my way through. I like the idea of going for a human opener. And if you're going to go for an agri opener, I super recommend starting with planks. Now, if I'm going to be starting with planks, and there's going to be stone here on this game, I think I could also open with coal, which would buy me a lot of time from having to burn resources in my wood, in my thing. We're going to be starting with a little bit of wood, some parts. We will have some berries, some basic food. Yeah, and I guess I'll take a chunk of a little bit of extra wood here just to start things off. Now, the number one thing that we want to do here is to try to chop through to a couple of these early glades so that we can maybe find a piece of farmland, because you can only plant crops in the drizzle. So let's see. We want to look for anything that would allow us to produce food. First things first, so there's no farm fields in our opening hand. We will get ourselves 2 woodcutting camps, and I'm going to immediately cut through to a dangerous glade. I know that's like a bit of a spicy thing to do, but it is what I am going to do, because there's a high probability that there will be farmland in here. And this is kind of a very risky opener, where you go for a double dangerous glade cut. But I do think that like the probability that this pays off is like really high. Let's make sure we set these woodcutting camps up to maximum priority so they get built first and we can assign workers to them. And then we also run paths from the important areas. This will speed up our workers ever so slightly. Yeah, and then one thing I would like to do is to prevent people from eating skewers. So any lizards I have, no skewers for you. I apologize. I want to save those skewers for maybe a harsh winter if we want our lizards to make it through it in a happy manner. Now, in terms of buildings we want to unlock really, really early, this map is going to have a lot of meat, leather, and eggs. So I probably don't need a ranch unless I really want to like renewably produce them using like wheat. But I think if I'm going to go for a farming heavy build with a lot of humans, I would maybe want to go for something like a cookhouse, because then I could turn flour into biscuits. And I think 2 races of people eat biscuits, if I recall correctly. Yeah, humans and beavers both eat biscuits. So biscuits are quite a diverse food. Now, I do have to look at my negative modifiers here. Let's see. So we have Fresh Breeze, which is complex food and housing will give a 20% speed boost to your units during drizzle. We have Invigorating Winds, which is complex food, another 20% speed. So complex food and housing are kind of important for me, and that's kind of part of the way that I was planning to play anyway, so this lines up really well with what I wanted to do. We also have Aura of Despair, which is no amount of amenities distract the villagers from the terrifying storm. Reputation generated from Resolve grows 95% slower, so that'll be active from Hostility too, so we won't have to worry about that for the first 2 to 3 years probably. Then we also have Corrosive Rainfall. All recipes using metal or ore have a 50% lower yield. That's going to be annoying to deal with, but it is only active during the storm and above Hostility 3, so we won't have to deal with that for a while. Eerie Song, on the other hand, is... Ooh, that one's really bad. A 5% chance for every unit to perish every 15 seconds if they do not have access to services. So we either want to try to beat the game before we get to Hostility 5 or be ready to deal with Hostility 5. And I think my goal would be to beat the game before Hostility 5. I kind of like the idea of going for a granary here. It covers a couple of really good needs. Like, it'll allow me to produce crops that I can export. It'll give me access to a food, and I'm pretty sure 2 people eat pickles. Yeah, beavers and lizards eat pickles. So I'm kind of tempted to lean on the granary side of things compared to the cookhouse. Although the cookhouse is nice, it also allows me to produce ink, which could be used in services. But I like the idea of being able to trade efficiently. So I think I will go for the granary. I definitely feel like the Trapper's Camp is like a necessary pick here, but I really can't afford to lose the small farm. But I am going to pick the Trapper's Camp just because it's so important that I get it, because there's going to be a lot of meat on this map. And then I'm going to re-roll in the hopes of finding a farming building. There's the small farm. That's perfect. So this all lines up amazingly well for me. Okay, so that's the opening plan, is cut through these forests and be ready with our small farms. We have the planks in storage to build the small farms, which is really important. It's why you bring planks with you, as if you're going to rush out small farms. There is the plantation building, which, you know, can handle much larger areas of farmland, but I don't think it's necessary. Let's immediately get 3 woodcutters working on cutting through to this glade. And the same thing here, immediately get 3 woodcutters working on cutting through to this glade. We're definitely going to need a crude workstation to make our resources, so I'll quickly get one of those. We could probably make do without housing until midsummer. Housing is relatively expensive. It's like 3 wood per person to house them. But I will eventually do that. There is a new update coming, not too long after this video should be released, that will completely... You know, this is one of the most updated games in the entire world. I've never seen a game get this actively updated. I think only Rust is updated more than this game, as far as I'm concerned. I think Rust is like an every 2-week cadence, and I think this is like a twice-a-month cadence as well. We get to pick our cornerstone, and we can pick from 4 choices. A clay delivery line means an infinite supply of bricks and pottery. A grain delivery line means an infinite supply of grain for our wheat production. Forest mitigation lowers our hostility, but we don't particularly worry about hostility. And then Fiery Wrath could make winning through reputation a little bit easier. I think I'm going to go for grain or clay delivery line, but I'm going to wait until I cut through to these glades to see what's in here. And it looks like we have found a great glade for a number of reasons. Primarily because it actually has the stuff we were looking for. It has a coal deposit, it has fertile soil, medium abandoned cache, it has a clothier, an open vault, root deposits. This is excellent. So this covers basically all of our early game needs. This one alone. We do have an open vault to break. This will lower the resolve of my woodcutters and gatherers while I resolve it, and also increase the impatience. But this should be a fairly straightforward resolve. I could even go ahead and pick up a bunch of crystallized dew, ancient chests, and boxes of pottery, or immediately go for amber. I'm kind of tempted to pick up these. Having crystallized dew in the bank could be handy, but I'm not going to solve this yet because I'm probably going to deassign all of my woodcutters when I go to actually resolve these events. Oh, right, the most important thing here is to immediately start building all the farm fields and just as on a temporary basis, throw down a small farm here at maximum priority. We need to get this built ASAP so we can get these fields planted. And we're going to be primarily relying on grain production this game. I want to get a grain harvest in. It's like super important that you get that first harvest. All right, let's see what this glade has to offer. Now, the cool thing is every tree on this map will have a different resource. Like these plate leaf trees give fiber. These coral trees over here give you stone and incense. These mussel sprout trees give you meat and crystals, which I think that's a really cool mechanic to have like a bunch of different resources gatherable from the forest itself rather than just like, oh, you get wood. Now in here, we actually have no negative event. Oh wait, no. We have fuming machinery. So that one's going to be a little bit more difficult to handle. Let me have a think. 16 brick, 10 barrels, 13 oil. The only way I can do this is if I resolve this open vault event and build a trading post and trade for the resources I need to resolve this. If I can do that, I can prevent the magical explosion. I could pick up a serious amount of machinery and all kinds of really cool stuff. Right, let's get ourselves a trading post. Post haste. Let's deassign all of the woodcutters so that we can get everything built super fast. Immediately assign 2 people to work on the open vault. Investigate that. We need to get it done ASAP. But the other great thing in here, we've got another farming field. If I didn't have to deal with this crisis event, I would immediately begin building a second farm. And you know what? I think actually we might be able to get away with that. Maybe we can get away with it. Maybe we can get away with it. We'll see. So in terms of cornerstone, I think I'm going to be able to get grain. So I'm going to take clay because that's going to cover a need that I can't fulfill otherwise. In terms of orders, we could go for a farm life. This would give us +1 grain production. This aligns very well with the build we want to go for. This is open multiple glades. Keep lizards resolve above 10 for 30 seconds. That should actually be supremely easy. All I would have to do is activate skewer consumption, and then that would handle that for me. What would I be giving up instead? Well, I could get a lot of industrialized farming. This would line up really nicely with my build because if I get the +1 wheat production, okay, and then I get +1 industrialized farming, the total amount of productivity for these packs of crops like goes through the roof. On the other hand, I could just get a supply of meat for the entire game and 3 lizards. I think though 3 packs, this like in the long term has like way better implications for my build. I'm not going to do exploration for a while. So instead I will go for lizard resolve. And what I'll do is I'll favor the lizards and then I'll allow them to eat skewers, and that should bring their resolve above 14, which should successfully complete that order for me, and that'll be my early game decided. So this is the only heal that I've got to deal with here, is this fuming machinery. I've got a lot of unemployed people, but that's intentional because unemployed people build things. Let's immediately assign 2 workers to this. They can get this first planting season in. They might not get much planted, but at least they'll get something planted. And that's the most important thing, is just getting something down. That first harvest is just such a huge boon if you can get it off. Same thing here with this small farm. We're going to immediately assign 2 workers to it so that we can possibly get a little bit of wheat planted. I want to make sure they're only planting wheat. There is 1 vegetable that went down there. That's fine. And we do have an order ready to complete. It is the lizard order, which means we get 2 more lizards that will help us fuel our early game. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough simple tools to actually deal with this. I wish it was. But I might be able to call this trader immediately and find a resource I can trade for it. But it's going to be dependent upon me solving this open vault event. I wonder what's going on here. Why do these guys have... What's this effect? Oh, they're energized. Because they have the complex food. That's amazing. Perfect. So I can actually go ahead and turn off the complex food now and save that for later. Open vault is 35 seconds from being completed. And we got our first very, very meager harvest. This is quite difficult to actually get a first harvest. So it's quite good that we did, because now it means we have some wheat in stock that we can turn into packs of crops to trade, which is going to be the main use of this first harvest, is to make these packs of crops to trade away. The open vault event has been resolved, which means I can now go ahead and assign 3 beavers to woodcutting again. The open vault thing had a negative effect for woodcutters, so I wanted to get that resolved. And now we'll work on cutting down some forest to make room for houses, because we need to start meeting the needs of our people. Also, one thing I forgot to talk about was the apothecary that's here. It almost has enough incense. Oh, if I had salvaged this. The big question is, once we extract all these resources, having an apothecary might not be the worst thing ever. It will give me access to biscuits. And I don't have a biscuit recipe as it currently stands. It'll also give me access to incense and cosmetics, although I don't have any harpies in this town. Now, on the other hand, 10 packs of provisions. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm going to try and crack this open for the incense here, because I need to trade to resolve this, because I can't deal with that explosion. It's not good. So I need to call this trader soon if I'm going to be able to do it. Let's call them immediately. I don't think I can delay any longer, because I am about to be going into the store, but I might need to call a second trader after this to try and get this resolved. The trader is here, and he does sell simple tools. Okay, if we look at what he has for sale, and then we check what this can be used. If I had 4 more tools, I could resolve this. So that's what I'm probably going to trade for, is I'll come in here. I'll sell these ancient tablets. How many of these tools can I get? I can get 10 of them, plus maybe, I don't know, something useful. A little bit of amber. These packs of provisions. Let me check here. What's our trade routes looking like? Packs of provisions can be used, to make amber through these trade routes. No, I think they're better off being sold here, so that's what I will do. I'll sell off the packs of amber on this. I don't have any other resources I want to sell. I'll take as many of these hammers as I can get, because they're always useful to have hammers, and then I'll take a little bit of amber. Although that said, is there maybe something in here that I would like? Orderly storage. If I could get obsidian shovels, actually might be really, really good. Faster planting just seems quite helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and trade for some simple tools and some amber. And then I'll buy obsidian shovels, so my next year's planting should go a lot better. And also, something I need to do is to actually get my woodcutters in position around these farmlands, because there is a little bit of farmland buried underneath these forests. And I'm probably going to activate this clothier later, but otherwise I think now we can come in here, set this to tools, and then solve this event. The question is, what do I actually want to get from this? Amber would be good for the next trade cycle. I could also make use of the reputation. On the other hand, trade materials might be really handy, so let's do this. And now I need to think about getting houses up, because the winter is almost upon us. Now, the really nice thing that your farmers can do during the winter is actually they can work these fields to give them a yield bonus, which is kind of a cool idea that I like. So you'll see they'll go around and they'll actually work the fields and improve the quality of you see the shiny? Yeah, they'll improve the quality. I don't want to buy or sell anything else. So I think this was a pretty successful first year. We got 2 farms down and ready to plant. We're going to have a ton of wheat. We have a granary that we can eventually build. And I think that's going to be our main objective for the next year, is to get the granary up so that we can make packs of crops efficiently. Because if you take a look, hang on, let me just cancel this build here real quick. If you take a look at the granary, it's 4 wheat equals 2 packs of crops versus 6 wheat equals 2 packs of crops. And this one takes 36 seconds, whereas this one only takes 27. So it's quite a bit more efficient to be producing these packs of crops and then trading them away for whatever we need. So that is the plan. That is the goal. My lizard's resolve is very, very low, but they should be fine. Oh, they made moving farms cost planks now. Okay. That's a kind of annoying. Not sure I like that change. It was nice to be able to move farms for free. Do I want 3 more lizards or do I want some humans? I am going for an agricultural build, so I think even more humans does seem kind of like the right move. In terms of cornerstone, letters to the Citadel doesn't seem very particularly interesting. Extra reputation from resolve is nice, but who cares? Every 2 villagers with the education need fulfilled will get global production bonuses. Free samples, extra parts could be really useful. I don't know what favoring is. I wonder if this is the thing where you can favor a particular species. None of these are actually very good. I'm going to go ahead and re-roll these. Now, Rich Glades is interesting. Mist Piercers is really, really cool. So Rich Glades just increases the amount of resources that are going to be in the glades that I open, but Mist Piercers allows you to see through the glades. However, opening glades will increase impatience quite quickly. I don't like Hunter-Gatherers. Rebellious Spirit is always just handy. It kind of acts as a counterbalance to the Queen's Impatience. I'm just going to go ahead and take that. It means I can play a little bit more fast and loose with Queen's Impatience, because Resolve will go up as Impatience goes up, which should then in turn bring Impatience back down. So it kind of acts as a counterbalance to the Queen's anger. Now, in terms of orders, 6 packs of crops. This lines up with our plans. It's human-centric. It gets me more humans. It gets me human reputation. Human clan support. This is perfect. This lines up with my agricultural-based build. Humans are very agri-focused. Now, on the other hand, if I were to boost human resolve, I would get access to the brick oven, which would allow me to build pies. I don't think I particularly care about pies. I think I would rather do aid for the human clan. Now, we could also do aid for the advanced farming. Now, this is huge. This is huge. 18 packs of crops in order to increase my farming yields by 25%. That's perfect. So again, like, everything is kind of like we're rolling the dice in the perfect way, where everything is lining up for us to be an extremely farming-centric build. And you kind of see that I've developed that straight from minute 1 of playing here. I already have access to a clothier, so I don't need this. I don't really have a way to get incense or scrolls at the moment. I already have access to pickled goods, and I don't really have a way to produce wine, unless... No, I don't have a way to produce wine. Tinkerer could be fine. I mean, I do have access to a lot of crystallized dew. Having access to tools is quite handy, as well as having training gear. And a better pack of building materials recipe is also quite good. In all honesty, none of these are very good, so I might just wait until I have amber and I might re-roll it. But you don't have to make those choices as soon as they're available. Always like consider the possibility that your choices just aren't, that good. But look at this huge grain harvest we're getting in now. I'm super happy about that. I am going to have to activate vegetables because I do, for one of my missions here does require me to get vegetables, unless I could somehow find some of them somewhere. Now we're going to do 3 packs next. I think we're going to do 2 packs of crops and 2 packs of provisions. Let's come into here. Packs of provisions. We will pack up meat, and I would like just 2 of these, and I want 2 of these for now. I'll assign 1 worker to that, so you'll slowly get to work on that. Would it be good to get another woodcutter? I think what we would like to do is to cut down a little bit of wood here. So I'll go ahead and get 3 more woodcutters on the go. We have very few unemployed people, but that's kind of intentional at the moment. We're trying to clear out land and improve the quality of life of our people. So who is my next trader? Okay, so she has raw food, so I should be able to solve my broccoli problem when she comes around. Out of curiosity, I don't have enough tools to hit any of these medium abandoned caches. So that kind of makes me want to get a tool income if I could. Lovely, we can do the 3 packs now. That's +1 to industrialized farming as well as reinforced needles. Perfect, so let's go ahead and deliver that. We're going to go ahead and disable packs of crops from here because now we can turn 4 packs of grain into 3 packs of crops, which is like insanely efficient. And also our plant production is like super efficient, so we can disable fabric production here. Now we only need planks and brick from this location. I'll put a human in here because humans have a 10% chance to have double production, which means we can very efficiently convert our wheat into packs of crops. We have a decent amount of wheat in the bank, and we are going to get our next harvest here. Look how much wheat is going to come in here. This is amazing. Incredible stuff. I think I have too many people working on the woodcutters now. Let's take a few people off. So I think our major next objective is to deal with our homelessness problem and to make sure that we have a few people working in this granary so that we can be maximally churning into packs of crops so that our trading will be maximized so we can complete these missions as well. This is excellent. I'm going to add 3 more humans to the camp and they will actually have an extra 3 resolve. That's perfect. I'm sitting on 3 rep points, so I think I'm going to justify now getting the Tinkerer. I don't particularly need the Butcher. Ooh, flour production. Now that's one of the things that I don't have right now is the ability to turn grain into flour in an efficient manner. So a rain mill is really good. I don't need a clothier. I don't have a way to produce ale or goods yet, so that's fine. Yeah, look how efficient this would be. 6 grain into 10 flour. And then flour can also be packaged up into other goods or baked into food, which is generally just really, really useful to do. I'm going to take the rain mill. It's a really, really good building. The scribe isn't a bad building here for me to take. It turns pigment and leather into scrolls. It upgrades it gives me a new recipe and upgrades 1 recipe. Packs of trade goods on the other hand. If I were to take the weaver, I could turn my flour into packs of trade goods. It might be better to just do packs of crops, honestly, and then focus on meeting the needs of my citizens through other means. Like I could use this to produce oil from grain as well, and oil is like a really efficient fuel. It can also be turned into a trade good. I think oil might be the way to go here to take the Butcher, especially because there's a lot of meat-based products available on this map. I'm pretty sure, like if we look at some of these things, we've got eggs, a lot of eggs. Okay, so we need something that uses eggs as a recipe. I could just save this and reroll. I'm going to save this one and reroll it later. Now, in terms of actual food income, we have very little real food income, even though we have 2 farms going. And so now it's going to be kind of imperative that we take care of that, and that's going to involve getting ourselves a little scavengers camp here to actually gather the meat. One problem I have is my farms are so productive that it's taking too long to bring the harvest in from the fields. So I built a storage here near my farms so they can actually get the food from the field into the farmhouse, into this, because if you pass through the clearance and you go to the storm and you haven't harvested all your crops, they will die in the storm. So that's kind of a downside. It's kind of important to build storage near your farms. Now this farm managed to harvest everything, which I'm happy about. So the lizards are a little bit unhappy. I'm going to have to figure out how to fix that. And it's probably housing. But what I will do instead is I'll activate skewers, and that should bring their resolve up to an acceptable level. We've completed another order, by the way, and this is an important one, an extra 25% yield. Perfect. Now if we come in here, you can see we're producing 5 grain per plot and 3 vegetables per plot. Oh man, look at that. We've got 60 crops in the bank ready to trade. We also get to pick a cornerstone. We get to invite new people in. I'll take an extra 2 tools, actually. That seems quite good for my immigrant pack. Let's see here. Trade logs. Gain 1 additional active trade route slot. Traders will arrive quicker. I like that. We are very trade heavy with our packs of crops. Every opened cache lowers hostility. That seems quite good. Or ancient tablets for every 2 glade events. All recipes with metal or ore have the production. I'm going to go with trade logs. Faster traders means we can kind of churn our crops faster. Apparently you can sell machinery that you've picked up. That seems quite good. Villager movement speed is okay. None of these perks here are particularly interesting. I really don't need any of them. So instead what I could do is, here is the plan. I'm going to take my farms off of vegetable production, focus them entirely on grain. Make sure that I buy 20 grain and 20 vegetables from this. She doesn't sell grain. Oh no. I should have kept some grain in stock. That's okay. I'll just buy all her veg. You know, it's quite handy to buy her planks and stuff too. I think that should actually be covered by these crops. Not quite. But yeah, having a ton of vegetables in stock will be handy. I don't think I care. I could buy a bunch of amber, but none of these perks are worth going for. I'd rather just get raw resources and continue to expand my city. So that's all she wrote there. Could have got better perks, but it just didn't roll very well there. Let's do a review of our economy. Might be a good idea to build a couple of farmhouses over here. And it might also be worth considering expanding. Let's have a look. What buildings are we missing? We haven't built the rain mill or the tinkerer. We don't have a need for the rain mill or the tinkerer just yet. I think our economy is kind of fine. Maybe we could look for more. Yeah, do you know what we need? We need more farmland. So let's get both of these woodcutters cutting through to another dangerous glade. I'm also going to get 2 lizards on egg duty. I might go double trapping camp actually and have this be my actual food income is from lizard scavenging. I think that's the plan actually. Lizard scavenging will be my actual food income. These plantations will produce crops that I can sell for resources. It looks like the granary workers don't have any crops to use, so I'm going to take them off that job. Just on a temporary basis. My lizards are actually really happy because I've been feeding them those skewers. Speaking of which, I need to stop feeding them skewers. They're too happy. Those skewers are for emergencies. I still don't know what I should take here. Honestly, being able to produce skewers and jerky and oil would be good. So let's do it. Now, on the other hand, I could also use wheat to fuel my ranches to be able to produce meat and this, but these aren't super efficient recipes, to be honest with you. I don't need a greenhouse. I already have my agriculture sorted, and I don't need a grill because I already have most of these recipes. I could use the ale, but I would rather re-roll this as it currently stands. Ooh, termite mount. That's fantastic. A permanent supply of bugs. Unfortunately, this is going to cripple my farming. Harvesting and planting are 60% slower. So I'll probably activate this. Well, this is kind of one of those things where you just have to get it done as soon as possible and you accept the consequences of it. We do have a leather worker here, which would allow us to produce water skins. Nothing too new, but handy enough. More importantly, it's just like a fairly basic place. It's got a little bit of reeds, a little bit of herbs. Yeah, nothing special. So the termite mound is going to negatively affect our crops. However, my hope is that the storage locations being so close will do the trick. Yep, my crop this year is going to be really, really poor because of this termite infestation. That's unfortunate. Nothing we can really do about it. We just have to accept that. We did, however, finally manage to do farm life, so our next supply is going to be really good. We do have a couple of orders we can pick from. Solve any 2 dangerous glade events. I like that. This will also give me a free villager every time I discover a glade, as well as the artisan building. Although I don't particularly need the artisan building, it could be handy. On the other hand, open 2 caches for new villagers. I will go for TikTok. Archaeology is open 3 glades and get 2 ancient tablets. Pretty handy. I think that's what we're going to go for. A bit of a more exploration heavy style. We are roughly halfway to a win here, and the Queen's impatience is really low, so I'm feeling pretty good about this game. And there we go. We have completed the termite nest, and we'll have a permanent supply of 5 insects per minute, which means we can have less people focused on food supply, which is just handy. There is a really nice coal mine over here, and I do like the idea of having spare coal to not have to burn wood in my furnace. Coal can also be used for a variety of things. Let's go ahead and prioritize opening this up. Resolve is low, but it's not too bad. We're not yet suffering negative effects. We're just about to finish our 3rd year, and I'm feeling like our economy's in a pretty good spot. We're starting to produce tier 2 food. We've got a ton of crops on the way. There's a trader coming soon. Now, I did have a bad harvest this year, but my next year's harvest should be like God tier. Because we should be looking at 6 grain per farm plot. I don't see any more coal underneath the trees, so let's go ahead and pop down the mine. This is now starting to make me feel like I can justify getting this clothier up. So let's get a few people to work on rebuilding the clothier. Coats are handy. It's basically trading fabric for happiness, which I think is a fair trade. And since now there's so many people living and working over here, I'm going to go ahead and turn this into a proper hub by adding a makeshift hearth to it. Ooh, this is huge. We managed to find farmland in here. This is going to be such an incredible year for harvesting. Get this over here ASAP and start cutting down all of this. I need both of my woodcutters over here actually to get this cut out as fast as possible. Zorg has come. We have a little bit of crops. We have a little bit of building materials. What does he have? Let's see. Traders will arrive quicker. This is handy. Cookhouse. I think we have all of these recipes already. I wish there was a way to quickly check that. Now, let's deal with immigrants first. I want lots of humans because I'm more agricultural focused in terms of cornerstone. Storm is faster, but I use more fuel. Wood production is increased by 1, but harvesting and planting are slower. I don't like that. That slows down my farmers. Mist piercers is handy, but I mean, I guess I do have the tools to deal with impatience. Lost supplies will give me extra food and grain for solving dangerous glade events. That kind of encourages me to explore, so I'll take that. Let's get a beaver immediately working on the mine. And this mine actually is engineering specialization, so the beaver will actually be happy. And now he will produce 4 coal every 54 seconds, which should more than enough cover all of my fuel needs over most of my hearths. Okay, new orders are available. Open 3 caches, that's something we can work on. Have 14 villagers with a clothing thing covered. We could definitely do that very, very easily. This one would be easy, but this one might be better long term. So I think I'll take the better long term one. Then they have a difficult order, 150 wood, produce 150 wood in the woodcutters camp, have 15 packs of provisions, and you get access to the forum. Interesting. Or cut through to 2 dangerous glades and solve a glade event, and this will get you extra copper. I think I'm going to go with mold supply here. 15 packs of building materials and 20 packs of trade goods. I'll take it. I don't particularly know how I'm going to produce trade goods yet, but we'll figure that part out. Alright, I need to handle the trader here. Greenhouses, don't care. Cookhouse could be worth getting. I definitely want simple tools because I have a mission to solve caches, and they typically take tools. So I would need 10 tools here, 10 tools here, and then another 10 tools. So I need 30 tools in total, so I need to basically buy all of these tools, and I can only just barely afford it, which leaves no amber to take perks. Half a reputation for 18 amber is really good, but I'll take the tools because this will allow me to open up 2 of these caches. Well, one of the caches, actually. 10% walk speed. Any good perks in these? Nah, so I'll just take the amber. Nice, we just finished the makeshift hearth. So we always want to be putting lizards in here because that makes them happier if they're in charge of the fire. I don't make the rules, that's just how it is. Oh man, we're going to get so much grain here. It's actually insane. The amount of grain that's going to be coming through. Huge. Oh yeah, I forgot to put down human houses next to their farms so they can live where they work. People really like, because I think they can get their needs met by going home. So if you build houses near where they work, they're more efficient in their workplaces. So this is like super important to do, and I keep forgetting to do it. Speaking of efficient workplaces, the clothier is the most efficient way to produce clothing, believe it or not. And so we're just going to have this thing constantly cranking on fabric. Oh my god, look at the amount of wheat in these fields, dude. This is godlike harvesting. Insane, unbeatable. Now, I just built myself a butcher, and I'm going to start turning these insect parts that I managed to get access to into jerky. Now, I could also get oil out of here, which is not too bad, but I don't particularly have a use for oil right now. Skewers would be cool. I mean, I could use bugs and eggs to make skewers. Why not? Let's get a couple of lizards working away on this tier 2 food then. Yeah, lizards love working with meat, or at least they have a 10% bonus yield when working with meat. So I've got like a secondary little industry going up over here. I'm producing fuel for my fires. I'm producing high tier food to bring up my resolve. I'm producing clothing to bring up my resolve. You can see most of my people now are being affected by clothing, and that will continue to climb as we produce more and more clothing. We have produced an insane amount of grain. We just finished the harvest. It looks like all of the fields managed to get clear. We just opened up a new area. We need to deal with this fuming machinery. We're much better equipped to deal with this. We could use oil. I don't like to use tools, so I might use oil actually. if I come here, it would take me way too long to make this oil is the problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and use tools. A 6 machinery would be dead handy. Half a reputation point is helpful too, but 6 machinery, like that's a pretty difficult thing to get a hold of. So we'll clear out the fuming machinery. What else we got in here? We got stone, we got roots, we got abandoned caches. Nothing too crazy in there, but just some good stuff. When's our next trader? Not too long. And so we are cranking those packs of crops. Check it out. What are we at? We're at over 100 packs of crops. That's incredible. The farming specialization. So like this is what I'm talking about. You could do really cool specialization builds. I don't need a grill. I don't need a greenhouse. I don't need any of this. Let's reroll. Brewery's not bad, but there's too much overlap with my other stuff. Now I do need a lumber mill because I have no way to produce packs of luxury goods as it currently stands, and I do need that for one of my missions. So that would be really helpful to get. So let's take the lumber mill. The grill is an improvement. The press is only a slight improvement over certain things. The brickyard isn't so bad. I mean, the smokehouse is okay, but I don't need it. I think I will take the grill. Even if it's only a 1-star ale recipe, it's an ale recipe, which is the important thing. Now, you know what? The brickyard gives me a lot more economic flexibility. I'll take that. A brick oven. We could make pies and coal and incense. Let's take the brick oven. So we have a really flexible economy now for moving into the late game of this build. We can kind of choose our own adventure. A little bit of after the storm. Wait, what is it? After the storm or against the storm? Listen, I don't know. I went to go get dinner and I forget what I was doing, but I do know that we were making tons, and I mean tons of crops. Okay, we are during the storm. Things are all good. We've got plenty of food. I feel like we've got way too much of this stuff stocked up. Is there anything to be said for going for a second granary to make even more packs of crops? I don't have the population. What am I working? Yeah, I think my population is just a little bit too constrained right now, so I guess we just carry on and we don't worry about changing anything as it currently stands. Alrighty, we get to pick a cornerstone. Silent looting. Minus 15 hostility every time you sell goods worth 25 amber. Well, I am doing a lot of trading, so protected trade could be good for keeping hostility down. And the lower that hostility is, the better. Although I also do get some benefit for hostility being up. Maybe I don't care about reducing hostility. Maybe I want the hostility to be nice and high. It's a tough choice. Let's have a look at our orders. Well, we can deliver TikTok. And that'll be 1 villager for every glade, as well as the artisan building. Although we don't have a huge use for the artisan, I will take that. Let's see, orders. Have at least 16 humans. Well, I mean, that's just a freebie. I have 16 humans. This is just a free win. That's a free rep point. I'll take that. Farm fields. This one should be very easy for me to do. I have tons of farms. Extra city renown. This is perfect. I should be able to pull that off fairly quickly. I just need to find like a little bit more farming. So a little bit of digging should do that. And now I only need, let's see here, I've got 7.75 reputation, which means I need, what, 4.25 reputation? Should be very easy. Let's just take protected trade, because the decision doesn't really matter that much. And we will grab ourselves a couple more humans. Now let's talk to Sother the Ancient. 25% increase to clearance duration, so summers will be longer. Shorter storms and faster chest opens. Well, maybe we just buy all the amber and buy a couple of perks. Nothing in here really helps me win the game, so I guess just taking a bunch of amber and then quickly calling a trader would be kind of a neat idea. Let's see. Yeah, nothing here is super important, so maybe I save some crops for the next trader. We trade this in. Longer clearance and shorter storms. Seems pretty based. That'll give us more time to harvest crops in summer. It'll also just mean that we spend less time in the storm suffering the negative effects of the storm. Alright, so I've got a couple of lizards working in this building over here. Let's get ourselves a lizard house so they're nice and happy. The one thing I lack is beaver house for this guy in this area. Could I fit one in somewhere? Yeah, nice beaver house right here. This is a nice little town area. Feeling pretty good about it. Alright, what do we have in terms of surplus resources that we could pack up into goods? We can make a ton of provisions, so let's employ a couple of people in here packing away the eggs and the meat and stuff like that, because we just have so much surplus food. And I do have an order ready to complete. There's the human majority. I will take that. That's extra pottery production, amber, and crates of stone. And now that I have stone, actually, yeah, I've got 82 stone in the bank. Let's go ahead and pave some roads. In particular, between my storage buildings and my major areas, because that's where like the most, traction is going to be, is between these major areas. And ideally from my farms to storehouses is like where I want those roads to. So that'll be a lot of stone roads, but once they're up, that'll save me a little bit of time. Now, let's have a little bit of a look around. I did solve this event. There was no farmland in here, unfortunately, which is not ideal. Let's cut our way into this little bit of land here. I like that I can move the beaver homes. That's quite handy because they tend the forest things tends to move around. So by setting up the beaver homes over here, you know what else I'm missing here actually? I definitely feel like we could use a hearth. Although this hearth is within range, so it's probably not necessary. There's not a whole lot of workers over here. It's honestly just the small farm and the woodcutters. Whereas this is a little bit more of a hub area, right? We've got 2 farms, we've got a mine, we've got a stonecutters camp. We've even got 2 trappers camps cranking away over here, gathering meat. So we're into summer again, and our farms aren't quite fully planted in some areas, but otherwise we're looking pretty good. Here's my question. Dude, I'm producing so much grain I actually can't keep up with it. I'm going to go ahead and destroy this stormbird nest and make myself a second granary. That's just how much I need the extra food production. What do we got here? Oh, lovely. Some fertile soil, regular deposits, fallen beaver traders. Well, we definitely want to take care of that. It'll upset my beavers to have this happen, but I'm pretty sure if I assign 2 people to solve it, it will be done before summer, and I do have extra clearance time, and I don't want these blight rot cysts. 10% villager movement speed ain't too bad, but I'm also really close to winning, so getting half a point of reputation could be real handy. So I think I'll take that and get that underway. And I also think we will set up a little bit of a farming area over here. I'm trying to like zoom in and see where the best spot for the farm is. It's probably here next to these 2 tubers, so I will get rid of the tubers, put the farm down here. It's unlikely we'll actually get a harvest from this farm because I'm pretty sure I'll win before the year is out, but however, we should still just, for the sake of completeness, take care of these things. So the fallen beaver traders only really has a negative effect if you ignore it for too long, but shouldn't be a problem for us. When's our next trader? In 4 minutes, so it should come after the storm. I could bring it in early. We might bring it in early, we'll see. My big problem right now is I don't have a whole lot of unemployed people, so things like these roads are taking a while to build, although we did just get the roads finished. Yeah, we're just missing a little bit of stuff here. Dude, I have so many packs of crops. It's insane. All right, we can deliver the focus on farming. That'll be +3 global resolve and a group of 4 settlers. Now I just need to think about opening caches, which means maybe I'll call this trader immediately. Yeah, let's call them immediately. We have a ton of goods in stock. Let's slap down another 3 humans working in here. I don't forget what the limits were. Yeah, 3 humans working in here. Now, if I got 3 humans working in here, do you know what I'll need? I'll need like more houses in this area. Sahilda is here. I want her simple tools. Plantation, herbalist camp, dual brewing tools. Gain 3 wine for every 15 ale produced. Well, I'm not doing that. I will take reinforced needles. Well, do I need those? I have a use for plantations. Plant fiber. Renewable plant fiber is really good. Let me have a little bit of a think. What's my pathway to victory here? I need 2 reputation points. My people are relatively happy. So I think opening caches is 1 step. And then the other piece is reputation. So I think that's our pathway to victory. So burning fuel will probably be a big part of it. As will be building houses and providing high tier food. If it's the case where we can provide high tier food using mushrooms and pottery, then I will go ahead and come into Sahilda here and I'll buy mushrooms and pottery off of her for all of these trade goods. That's perfect. I could also even sell some of this wheat if I wanted to, because I have a huge surplus of wheat. Buy a little amber, I guess. Can I get all that amber? Ooh, I could sell all my wheat and get that amber. What else could I drop in here? Yeah, I'm never going to need all these parts. So I'll drop a few parts. I'll drop a little bit of this. And that should be a successful trade. This will give me access to pickled goods. And I'm feeling super good about that. Resolve is looking amazing. We have huge resolve right now. Very good. Could start churning resources in here for stuff. Well, if I was going to do that, I would want to add another lizard to this and actually start producing oil as well. What do we got in terms of storage for food? Oh, wow. No jerky. Plenty of skewers. So I'm going to set a skewer limit at like 30 skewers. I don't need more than 30 skewers. And I probably don't need more than 30 of these. I've got 2 reputation points to spend. Honestly, I don't need them. I find if you build an efficient enough economy with your basic stuff, you honestly, you don't need all of your blueprints. You can get by without them. Now, the nice thing about makeshift hearts is if they're fueled by fire, they actually lower the hostility of the forest. They kind of make the forest a little bit more hospitable. Like, it's kind of their secondary role. Let's pick up, with these tools, a little bit of extra reputation. So I'll slap a couple of people to work on that. 1 minute from now, we'll have that going. And I feel like we are just on the verge of victory. Now, the cool thing is that your immigrant packs actually come at the regular interval, not at the year turnover. So you can actually get, by slowing down certain seasons and speeding up others, you can actually get more immigrants per year. It's kind of an interesting consequence of that. Let's see, Cornerstone. 2 additional trade routes, but impatience grows faster. Every 2 villagers. +1 global resolve. I think that's the way to do it. That'll bump our resolve up. Now let's full crank, full send it on coal and oil and everything. And we should see, look at that resolve. Dude. Amazing. What are we getting? 2.16 resolve per minute. Godlike. Absolutely godlike. Boom. Easy clap. So that's how you do it. That's how you finish it up. We picked up ourselves 36 food, 11 machinery. We also did win 3 games in the cycle without reaching more than 4 in patience. We got a coral forest and into the forest. 2 dangerous glades on year 1 on the difficulty hard or higher. Okay, great. So I feel like I'm getting back into the swing of things, and I feel like I'm tackling hard difficulty quite easily here. Ooh, what is this? Levitating monument. You can move most buildings in your settlement if you settle next to it. This is kind of an interesting one. I don't particularly have a reason to do anything. Let's go ahead and check out the Citadel. I don't know if I have enough food to do anything. Let me have a look here. Yeah, food stockpiles are quite low, and these are quite expensive in terms of food. I mean, I guess I could maybe... Yeah, I just need a lot more food. Well, what we could do is a fairly easy go deeper into the forest thing to reveal some of these question marks. That might be the right way to do it. I could go for the Scarlet Orchard. I think that's one of the few ones that I haven't done yet. And I could do this one on Impossible even if I wanted to. It would get me 72 food, which is quite good. Do I feel ready for an Impossible? It's been a while since I've played. I feel like I'm doing hard without any difficulty. Let's go to very hard. But yeah, we'll handle all that in the next episode. I love you all very much. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.